Hello and welcome to the 2020 CERN Webfest. Thank you all very much for joining us. We're thrilled to have you with us today. So, as you know, the Webfest is a hackathon which is run by CERN every year. It's typically part of our summer student program. Now, unfortunately, our summer student program, like many other events around the world, isn't taking place this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, we have been able to run our Webfest as an online event. And we're really pleased to announce that over 440 people have signed up to join the Webfest. So I don't expect that all of you are on the call now, but thank you very much to all that have joined and that are following the chat now. So over the next hour and a half, 2 hours, we'll be introducing the Webfest and the projects that you may be able to work on over this weekend. And then at the end of this, we'll have a networking session. So we're really trying to replicate the feel of an in-person hackathon, as well as the fun and the excitement of that, while also benefiting from all of the added extras that one has when one is working online. Most importantly of all is the fact that you're all able to join from all over the world. We're not all in Geneva. My co-host, Anastasiia Lazuka, who you'll be hearing from in a few moments, is in Geneva, and I'm joining you from France. So, to kick off the Webfest then, as I mentioned, it's the first time we've ever run this event online. It's been running since 2012. It was founded by the Citizen Cyber Science Lab and others. And since 2016, CERN Open Lab has also been providing support. We're also really pleased to announce that GluOnNet and Remotely Green, as well as others from CERN, have all provided huge amounts of support for this year's event. So, as you can see on this slide here, the event is primarily run using an app, and all of the information about the site, your sort of main hub, is of course the website. But once you really want to get down into the nitty-gritty details of what you're doing when you're signing up for things, really, please do refer to the app. So you should all have received an email which allows you to access the application. And of course, we want you all to discuss with one another. It's not about working at home by yourself. It's about connecting people and bringing people together to share their creativity and share their perspectives on things. And this is why we have all of our Mattermost channels open. So we really do encourage as much discussion on there as possible. We can have on-topic discussion, also off-topic discussion, just as one would have in real life. We're also all available to answer your questions on the Mattermost channel, and that really should, we hope at least, be buzzing for the next 48 hours or so. So I mentioned 48 hours, but it's not quite true that the Webfest runs for exactly 48 hours. I will give you now an overview of the schedule. So the focus of the Webfest is, of course, over the weekend, but it will be Monday evening when the winners are announced. So to start off, here we are on Friday. I'd like to just make a small admission that here all the times that you're seeing are in Central European summertime. So this is 2 hours after GMT, so 2 hours after UTC. So we're sorry about that bit of Eurocentricness, but given where the hackathon is being run from, we thought it made sense to pick a time zone and stick to that. So whenever you see a time, please do remember it's CEST. Okay. So tonight, as I mentioned, we have the kickoff and pitching session, and followed by that, we'll have some virtual networking. Okay. These times are indicative. We're not entirely sure exactly how long the pitching will take, but we're going to try and keep things fairly short and snappy if we can. Now, throughout the weekend, you'll see that there are 3 main strands. First of all, there's the hacking. That's the reason that you're all hopefully here, and that's the most important session. But that on its own is, it wouldn't be the Webfest. Instead, we want to make sure we've got a full set of, cultural and support activities. So the second strand is all of our how-to sessions. So we have a series of workshops that hopefully will help you learn skills that will have direct impact on your projects as you're developing them over the weekend. Obviously, we're not going to address topics in great detail in these how-to sessions, but some of them in just 20 minutes or so will give you a few ideas to think about, and hopefully can have a positive impact on what you develop by Sunday evening. So you can see here on Saturday, there's a session at 10 o'clock on how to frame a problem. At noon, I'm very pleased to announce that the head of CERN computer security, Stefan Luders, is going to give a talk on web security. So that's a real highlight. And at 2 o'clock, we also have a short video on science communication. So how really to communicate complexity. Then we also have a number of fun topics throughout the weekend, sort of fun social activities. So we've talked about the networking session, which is both something that's fun, but also something really important so that you can share ideas and learn from one another. We have one of those networking sessions this evening, of course, as I mentioned earlier. And again, there will be another update and feedback session using the same networking tool on Saturday evening at 6 p.m. On top of this, we have now some of the pure fun sort of activity stuff. In the morning, for anyone that would like to join, we have a yoga session at 9 o'clock. And in the evening at 7:30 p.m., we have Webfest Zumba for people who care to partake in a little bit of Zumba. Now, on Sunday, it's essentially the same kind of program. We have some more fun activities. For anyone that's feeling really, really keen, on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, we have high-intensity training. These are people from the CERN Fitness Club who have very kindly agreed to give these sessions. So I do encourage any fitness fans out there to join. And then in the evening, we also have a DJ session. Throughout the day, we have more of our workshops, our how-to sessions. So we have a great session by Manuela Cirilli from CERN's Knowledge Transfer Group on how to present your project. That's at 10 a.m. in the morning. And then at 1 p.m., we have another how-to session on how to create a simple video. So these are very practical, short sessions. Maybe when you're in groups, one or two may like to attend these sessions while others continue working on the main project idea. But these are really important things that will shape your submission at the end of the day on Sunday. So come the end of the day on Sunday, 6 p.m., that is the time when it's the end of your hack session. So we need to have your videos by then, please. So we're asking you all to submit a 1-minute video which summarizes your work on the project. As with the pitches, we appreciate this is a very short period of time and it's very difficult to capture everything in a short video. So of course you're able to link to other information, but we really do need a short but clear and concise summary of 1 minute about what you've done over the weekend. The fact that we have 30 different projects, 450 different participants, so we may end up with multiple teams working on the same project, means that we could theoretically end up with I suspect not, but up to 90 teams and maybe 30 or so. But even at a minute each, that's still a lot for our judges to take a look through. So please do bear that in mind. It's not that we want things to be superficial in any way. It's simply the practical constraints, and we think it's an important skill for everyone participating in the hackathon to bear in mind how to present these things in a clear and concise manner. So moving on to the next slide, and this is Monday. So during the day on Monday, there's nothing for you to do. Come Sunday evening, it's a case of submit your project video. You've finished hacking, and then enjoy, socialize. The Mattermost channels are open. The DJ session will be taking place. So it's time to relax and congratulate yourselves on a weekend's great work at that point. However, we do invite you all back on Monday, where the winners will be announced, and the judge and some of our judges are very kindly going to join us, and we will essentially announce a short list of 5 projects, of which we will select one overall winner. At least that is our intention. We will also immediately before that at 4 p.m. Central European Summertime have a final how-to proposal, final how-to workshop on how you can proceed with your project, because this is a very important thing for all of us. You know, it's great to see people come together and work for a weekend on a hackathon, but it can often be difficult to capture that and really make sure there's impact going forwards. So this is a short session on some ideas as to how you may be able to do that. So we do hope as many of you as possible will be able to join us at the awards ceremony on Monday evening. Of course, we will also publish all information on the website as well. Now, one more thing to mention is that throughout the weekend, we will also have a number of mentors available. So just as a normal Webfest, we have people with specific skills who will go around the teams and will hopefully help you, maybe ask some tricky questions and provide some guidance as needed, essentially. Now, I'm not going to go through the full list of mentors, but just to highlight, we have people with a wide range of different skills here. For example, we have here Maria Gironi, the CTO of CERN Open Lab, and Alberto Di Melio, the head of CERN Open Lab there, who can provide great expertise when it comes to things like machine learning for those who are interested in projects like that. I saw a couple of projects related to machine learning and AI. Also, Sofia Valacosa is an expert in this area. Looking here, I see Francois Briard, who is the head of CERN's local engagement team. So for those looking at sort of education outreach projects, he's an excellent person to speak to, as is Claudia Macelloni, who is the mastermind behind the TEDx CERN events of the recent years. So we've got people there with a whole range of different skills. I'm not going to go through them all, but at different times throughout the weekend, they will be available on Mattermost, so you can ask their questions. We will be announcing these on Mattermost, the sort of time windows when these people are available. And we do really encourage you to interact with them and profit from their expertise. Maybe just to bounce a few ideas off them, ask a few questions, maybe kind of road test a few things with them. They're here to help you. Then we completely understand that this is an open hackathon, and in our view, that's a fantastic thing. We are thrilled that so many of you have chosen to join us. We're really, really pleased. At the same time, we know that there's going to be a large difference in the level of experience people have in participating in events such as this one. So there are people who I know for a fact have participated in many other hackathons, people with far more experience than myself. But equally, there are people for whom they've seen the announcements about this, they've signed up and are only vaguely aware of what a hackathon is. So generally, we'll try and pitch all of our communications somewhere in the middle. If you have any questions, this is what the Mattermost channels are there for. Please don't hesitate to ask at any time. But for those of you that are completely new, just to explain what a hackathon is. Now, a hackathon is not about perfection. A hackathon is about having fun. It's about bringing people together from all over the world. And it's about working on rough ideas, prototype solutions to a series of challenges. So some of you are going to be bringing coding skills. Some of you are going to be bringing physics expertise. Some of you are going to be bringing a series of questions, a series of challenges. Everything and everyone is appreciated at this hackathon. What's really important to us is that you have fun, and what you develop over the weekend is, hopefully something that you can be proud of. And we're thrilled to see what you develop. At the end of the weekend, we're looking forward to seeing, some prototypes, some plans, some rough ideas, some, working models. We're not expecting any perfect solutions. At the same time, it's all about teamwork. You're going to use the app, which we're going to explain in a moment, to select your preferences for the projects that you will work on, and then you'll be allocated into teams. So I'm now going to show you a short video by Christoph Birkholz from Impact Hub, Switzerland, who's going to talk a little bit to you all about hackathons.
So I really love the idea of the Webfest, right? If we think about it, when television came along, what did people do, right? They started to capture a theater. And only after they had done that for a couple of years, they had to learn that television actually requires kind of a new format, new way of doing things, not just kind of video filming theater. And we are a little bit in the same time right now, right? We are used to physical events and physical hackathons and panel discussions and all that. And we are sort of just moving that online with video conferencing technologies. But that is almost kind of the same that we had done 100 years ago with theater and television. We have to rethink the way we interact online or virtually, digitally, as being physical beings. And I think this is a wonderful theme to dive into and to really explore what human-machine interfaces or human and connectivity devices interfaces will look like in future. And what does it mean for those who organize such events and those who explore content in those events and those formats. So very practically, we still speak in front of a screen most of the time when we do things virtually or digitally together. Some now do, of course, have touch screens and so on. But the next evolution also, or the next revolution even, will be human-machine interfaces where we have much more haptic, where we have much more 3D interaction. And I mean, some of you or many of you know that this already exists in the labs or so, but it hasn't gone mainstream yet. This won't take too long. And I think putting that as a theme of a conference, of a dialogue, and to looking into that, what will it mean for us? Because it will come faster than we think. That's I think a great idea. That's an idea and a topic worth discussing. And I wish you all the best at the Webfest. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thanks for watching that video. Now we've talked a little bit about what a hackathon is in general, and we've looked at our schedule. I'm going to pass you over to my colleague, Anastasiia Lazuka, also from CERN Open Lab, who's based across the border in Switzerland. And she's going to talk to you a little bit about the theme for this year's event, and also about our judges and our judging criteria. Over to you, Anastasiia.
Thank you so much, Andrew, and also a very warm welcome to all of you, to all the participants, to all the mentors and judges. We are very happy to have you on board, and believe me, you all are already very special because you are taking part in the very first global CERN Webfest. So welcome. And moving to the theme of the hackathon, as you already know, the topic of this year's event is working together apart, accelerating collaboration. So this year, we particularly aim to explore changing ways in which we collaborate to make science. And obviously, the COVID-19 crisis has changed the ways in which scientists collaborate, communicate, and work together. And so with this year's Webfest, we want to give you, dear participants, an opportunity to help develop tools that can support remote collaboration and scientific work of scientists. And now we are going to show you a little video and from a co-founder of Remotely Green, Lorena Freitas, who is going to speak a little bit more about why this topic, working together about accelerating collaboration, is so important nowadays.
The topic this year is so important these days because it's really hard to tackle a difficult problem when we work on our own. And by collaborating and working together, we can really take a challenge and analyze it from all these different angles and understand it better. And as a consequence, we can come up with much more powerful ideas to solve them. And what really excites me about this topic is that technology is currently so close to helping us accelerate collaboration by giving us the potential to reach a much bigger number of people and include them in the discussion. So take, for example, the topics of climate change, wealth distribution, or racism. These are topics that really require everyone to take part in the discussion because they will have very different implications depending on what your background is. But what if you can't travel to attend the events where these topics are discussed because you have health or financial restrictions? Or perhaps you have small children at home, which means that you wouldn't be able to stay away for very many days. Or maybe you're just really shy and you find it difficult to express your brilliant ideas in a social environment. So my question to Webfest participants this year would be, how can we then adapt these tools and these technologies to really assure that we can include everyone and really work together. So I'm really looking forward to see what solutions you come up with this year. Good luck and already congratulations.
So it was quite a nice message from Lorena, and I hope it gives you good motivation and inspires you to really hack hard during the weekend and come up with some nice projects at the end. Speaking of the projects, we have to cover a very important point now. Namely the judging criteria. I'm sure a lot of you are interested and curious about what are the evaluation criteria of your projects and how are you going to be evaluated. So as you can see on the PowerPoint slide, there are three main criteria that our judges will take into account while evaluating your projects. So these are innovation, presentation, and impact. So our jury will evaluate in how far the technical, in how far innovative your technical solution is, in how creative is the project that you are presenting, and what is the potential impact for the real-world applications of your projects. Now the evaluation will be done on the scale from 1 to 5, as you can also see on the slide. 1 is the lowest score and 5 is the highest. In case you would like to take another look at this criteria and go through them again, you can always find them online on our website, webfest.cern. Now, speaking about your projects and judges, we would like to introduce you, to actually show you people who are going to evaluate you and your projects. I'm very excited to introduce you our jury members that are Alessandra Royas, Sustainable Entrepreneurship Manager at EPFL. Ben Siegel, a co-founder of the CERN Webfest. We are very, very honored to have him on board. Bilge Demirkos, Professor of High Energy Physics at the Middle East Technical University. Caterina Doglioni, Senior Lecturer at Lund University. And Charlotte Varakoule, a Director for International Relations at CERN. Dear Charlotte, thank you so much for being with us. We are honored to have you with us. David Galbraith, Design and Serial Entrepreneur at Ensemis Group. Francois Gray, I think there is no introduction needed here because everyone knows him. That's a co-founder of the CERN Webfest. Ines Knapper, Innovation and Hackathon Lead at the World Economic Forum. Jean-Pierre Raymond, a Swiss career diplomat, Head of Innovation Partnerships. Jens Wiegen, Senior Scientific Information Officer. Nikki Böchler, Director of OpenData.ch. And last but not least, Rachel Ainsworth, Research Software Community Manager. So as you can see, you are in good hands, so no need to worry about that. Dear judges, thank you again for joining the CERN Webfest. We're very happy to have you together with us. And now I would like to also show you a short video, a message from one of our judges, from Ben Siegel, a co-founder of the CERN Webfest and an honorary staff member of CERN. Please, welcome.
Hello. I'm Ben Siegel. I'm a co-founder of the CERN Webfest, which is run every year since 2012. This will be the 9th edition. I'll be on the jury this year. The Webfest was CERN's first hackathon. It used to be just for the CERN summer students. Some of them said it was their best experience of all the year at CERN, all the summer. It was very informal. People just turned up on Friday evening, made their pitches, formed their teams, and hacked non-stop until Sunday evening. some really non-stop, not even sleeping. It used to happen around the CERN restaurant. COVID-19 has changed all that. This will be my first ever virtual hackathon. I've got a lot to learn. I've been very impressed by the amount of effort going into organizing it. Fortunately, we've got some organizers who've already participated in virtual hackathons. And this year, it's for everyone. It's not just for the summer students, it's not just for CERN, it's for everyone all over the world. So you can imagine the effort that's needed to set it up. From the very first edition, a main aim of the Webfest has been to have fun. Don't forget that. So good luck to everyone. Enjoy and hack hard.
Thank you, Ben. A really nice motivational video, don't you think so? So please hack hard and don't forget to also have fun. And now as that you have seen some of our judges, we would also like to show you a video from Alberto Di Meglio. Alberto Di Meglio represents CERN Open Lab, which some of you might not know, but CERN Open Lab has been provided support for the Webfest since 2016. So Alberto, we are very happy to have you with us and have you on board. Please, we would like to have your message inside it now.
Hi, my name is Alberto Di Meglio. I'm the head of CERN Open Lab. One of our main goals is to promote, facilitate, create innovation for open scientific research. Traditionally, the yearly Webfest is one of the main moments of our summer education program. This year has been particularly challenging for most of us. We ourselves at CERN had to change our plans to adapt to a new situation, to new ways of living and working together. However, together we can turn this into an opportunity to understand, to improve, to innovate the way we do open science in a collaborative way internationally. I'm really looking forward to witnessing directly how young talents from many different places in the world can bring new ideas and work together to improve potentially for the future and for the better the way we do science, we help society, we work together. In the respect of the environment, and especially building on the many differences that we have, but that should unite us and not bring us apart. I wish you good luck, open your minds, surprise us.
Yeah, thank you, Alberto. So now, dear participants, after you've got a good portion of motivation, we would like to move to probably the most important part of this session, to the pitching part, where we would have all the projects presented. And here I would like for Andrew to take over.
Hi again, everyone. So thanks very much, Anastasiia. As Anastasiia alluded to, this is the real reason that you're all here for this session this evening. It's for the pitching of the projects. So the key deadline to keep in your minds is that at 9 p.m. CEST this evening, so 9 p.m. CEST is the time by which you need to have made your selection. Okay, so you're now going to hear about all the different projects that have been proposed, and you then will make your choice in the Webfest app. And of course, there's ample opportunity to discuss, projects within the Mattermost channels, as well as not to forget, of course, our networking session, which is planned for after this session. So that will start at 7:30 p.m. So reminder, deadline, 9 p.m. this evening. Please make your selections by then. So with no further ado, let's start going through the projects. So this session obviously will take quite a while. What we've done is we have about 30 projects, just over in fact. We've grouped them thematically. So we're going to go through topic by topic. We appreciate this is a long session, so hopefully you can follow. Because there's such a large number of projects, and again, thank you so much to everyone for that. I'm afraid we do need to keep the introductions very brief. So you have a maximum of 90 seconds to introduce your project. We're going to go through the projects one by one. For some people who have proposed a project, they're on this call and they will make the introduction. For those that unfortunately weren't able to join this specific call for time zone reasons or whatever, I will make the introduction based on the information that's being provided through the website. So with no further ado, our first topic is science communication. So I'd like to pass over to Mohammed Samid, who's going to present the CERN proposal.
Thank you, Andrew. So I want to present Project CERN. We want to create a website and an app where visitors can explore all of the CERN activities and programs that they're eligible to take part in, whether it's visiting CERN, participating in a conference, applying for an internship, or getting a studentship or a staff position. So this website and app will be a one-stop shop and serve as a gateway to bring people to CERN. We are looking for a web developer to help with the website, an artist or designer who can make nice visuals for our website and app, and then also somebody who can make good videos for us, especially for the final presentation. And we're hoping to do a live demo by the end of the weekend, so that will be included. We're really excited if you would join us. Please do send me an email if you would like to join. Please also click to choose a challenge. Remember, it's Project CERN, and we're making this app and website to bring people and connect them to CERN. So thank you very much, and hopefully see you at the Webfest.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, the next science communication related proposal that I'd like to present is called Groundbreaking. It's an interactive CERN map. So this idea proposes a way to allow the general public, especially younger scientists, to explore CERN and to read about the research that CERN does. The user would be able to view an interactive map of the campus, similar to user-developed Google CERN maps, or the already existing CERN map, but developed for a general audience. And it would allow people to click on different parts of the campus to zoom in and see what each part does. And the aim is to give people a general overview of how an accelerator and the downstream particle physics experiments work. And then on this slide, we have one more science communication proposal that I'd like to present. And this is for an online science show. So here's the question that this proposal poses. Is it possible to reproduce the magic and the educational potential of a science show online? So the criteria for an online science show include the wow effect, despite the video format. We need to make sure there's educational interest related to CERN, physics, science, and laboratories. It needs to be accessible to kids from just 8 years old and up. And there needs to be interaction between the speaker, participants, and participation of the audience within the show. The developed project or tool needs to think about safety, and also in terms of language, it needs to be made in such a way that it can be easy to translate the content from one language to another. So this is another interesting science communication proposal. Now, if we go to the next slide, you'll see we have here 3 more projects, and they're going to be presented by the 3 people listed here below. So to start, I'd like to pass over to Mohammed Obad to present the Practical Physics Made Easy proposal.
Hi, everyone. So I don't know if this is going to help or not, but our team is already pretty much formed, so we don't really need any new people. But I guess I can present the idea anyway, if that's all right. So I think it's a safe bet to say that, like, most of us have learned science, and I would bet as well that the best way that we've learned science, most of us, is through practical, hands-on experimentation. But some experiments are easier than others. Dropping objects of different sizes is quite accessible to most people, but the larger experiments that require more resources are sometimes inaccessible to students, whether it's because of a pandemic that makes going to school a public health risk, or just because schools have less resources and so they can't do the bigger experiments. So we decided to come up with an idea that would give that same amount of practical experience that teaches the principles, and that does it virtually. So our idea is a website that will basically be a projectile game. You have to fire a projectile at a target on 3 different planets, and through that you will learn the role that gravity plays in the motion of objects.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. So perhaps now we could pass over to Patricia, who's kindly going to present the proposal about machine learning and how it works.
Hi, my name is Patricia. I'm part of CERN's exhibition team. We are currently working on the new exhibitions for CERN Science Gateway. You see a rendering behind me. It's a new science education and outreach center, and it will target the general public with visitors of all ages. The opening is foreseen at the end of 2022 in the new building designed by the Renzo Piano Building Workshop. We are working on 3 exhibitions. The first exhibition, called Discover CERN, will focus on the accelerators and the experiments and the science and technology involved in them. And one of the topics we want to treat in this area is artificial intelligence and machine learning. This brings me to our challenge for you, to come up with a game where visitors can discover how machine learning works. The game should be very intuitive to use, last no longer than 2 or 3 minutes, and be accessible for people of all ages without any previous knowledge of artificial intelligence or machine learning. What do I expect as an outcome for the weekend? First, that you come up with a scenario for the game, and that you then would develop a first working prototype. What would we do if such a prototype would be developed? In the first phase, we would test the prototype with people of different ages and background, and to see, do they understand how to play the game? Do they understand the message? And if this all goes well, then we could hopefully further develop this to become a real exhibit that we will use in Science Gateway. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Patricia. I have to say, I love your background. It feels like you're calling us from the future. I will pass on now to, we have a recorded video from Stefan Ludwig, who is going to show us through this video a project called Webfest. These are the experts you are looking for.
#Webfest. These are the experts you are looking for. Imagine, you need to learn a new topic. Whom will you ask for a tutorial? Easy, an expert. But where do you find this expert? A lot of experts are hiding at CERN, but you have no chance to encounter them by coincidence. Not even in R1, especially not during this time. However, these experts are giving a lot of talks. The talks are all cataloged in Indico, a database which is easy to crawl. Imagine, you have a tool to find these experts you are looking for, with for example the abstracts of the talks they were giving. A bunch of summer students worked on this tool since last year's Webfest, finding new ideas, collaborators and hopefully you during this hackathon. Our weekend goals: compare different algorithms to extract meaningful keywords from Indico, and visualize the output with a graph neural network. You can contribute with your programming skills in Python, your expertise in graphical neural networks and statistical semantics, your creative mindset, presentation skills, or just with your contagious enthusiasm. If you are interested, get in contact with us and be part of the team.
Hi again. So there are 6 science communication related project proposals for this weekend. And I'm now going to move on to the next topic, which is facilitating research. Before we start going through these projects, I just wanted to mention something that I perhaps overlooked during my introduction. It's just to emphasize the fact that, you know, whenever you published a project proposal, you were able to choose the theme, the topic. So these projects, as they are organized, are based on the themes that you selected when uploading them. I feel it's just worth mentioning that because, you know, there is a bit of a gray area between some of these. You know, where is something science communication and something else is education, for example, or you could have some project that is communicating around health matters, and so then does it fall into the health topic or the science communication topic? So to keep things easy, we wanted to use the topics that you selected. So I just wanted to let you know that in case you wonder why things are where they are, we're happy with where everything is, but that's just the background in case anyone was wondering. So with no further ado, now on to the next topic, which is facilitating research. The first project is one that I'm going to present here, and it's called COIAS Constructing Collaboration. Professors or researchers have limited opportunities to find collaborators due to a limited number of available conferences and the costs associated with attending them. There is a trend to create more open source and accessible information, and we would like to further explore this concept. Our goal is to provide researchers and students with an easier way of finding collaborators and supervisors. And to accomplish this, we want to create a database with graduate programs from around the world based on their subject areas, as well as profiles of supervisors or researchers. By searching a particular subject area, a student can look at various programs and researchers and can find collaborators related to that field. These programs can also be extended into internships and postgraduate programs. So that's the first of our projects related to facilitating research. For the second one, which is about creating a template code of conduct for online events, I'd like to pass you over to Benjamin Kirkler.
Thank you, Andrew. So this is a challenge from myself, but also from the rest of the Remotely Green team. The point here is a code of conduct is a vital piece to make events run smoothly. They give a baseline for how people can be expected to treat each other in these sorts of events. They reinforce that the conditions in that event are right so that everyone can work together. But also they're very important for organizers because it clearly defines a route to how to behave if there's any inappropriate action. So for this challenge, we'll be thinking about the different personal contexts that come up when you're doing an online event versus an in-person one. Also the social clues that will be missed when you use chat or video call. And also there's a big problem with the real serious sort of things, but like the case identity theft or privacy and major sort of online abuses. So the point here is a code of conduct for online events is not, there isn't a standard template that you can find. You can find this for in-person events. So this is what we'll be building. We'll collect and review code of conducts for various in-person events, but also for the events that have gone online. We'll come up with a draft of what we think this should look like. And if possible, we'll try and put this on a repository somewhere live with an open source license that can be used for these sorts of events and others. It's not a major hacking challenge, so you don't need to have a lot of coding experience, but event experience and being online would be great, from writing skills and maybe some simple web development. So thank you very much. Thank
you very much, Ben. And now for the third of the projects listed on this page, I'd like to hand over to Kristina Dimitrova-Kirova, who's going to present a project proposal called Less Typing, More Thinking.
Hi, my name is Christina, and I would like to create an extensive database with physics equations written in LaTeX to save us time when writing articles, lecture notes, or presentations. In the past few years, I have seen lecturers who would take months on typing hundreds of equations to compose the perfect notes, and I myself have spent countless hours compiling text files and typing equations using the LaTeX syntax rather than thinking about the meaning behind those symbols. Wouldn't it be easier if you can just simply copy and paste the Schrodinger's equation or any other equation we can think of, similar to how programmers copy and paste code? How we should go about it? I suggest scraping some of the websites which I have listed as useful resources, along with open access physics textbooks and some personal work. The main programming language I'm planning of using is Python, together with Flask for the website and some database engine. I'm flexible about the technology stack, but insist on enthusiasm and collaboration. Over the weekend, I'm hoping we can create a database and a simple website, which can be easily extended in the future. Oh, and by the way, I've tried searching for similar things for quite some time, but there isn't anything comprehensive, well-maintained, and easily searchable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. So now onto the next slide of projects related to facilitating research. So I'm now going to pass on to Kaushai Timilsina, who's going to present a project proposal called Studying Abstract Mathematical Structures Using Data, Machine Learning, and Artificial Intelligence. Over to you, Kaushal.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kaushal, and the idea that I submitted is called Studying Abstract Mathematical Structures Using Data, AI, and Machine Learning. I think that usually coding mathematical structures can be cumbersome and might not be very useful otherwise. So let me demonstrate what I'm trying to talk about using an example. Consider a list whose elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One notices that this list has a substructure to it, in that there's 2 blocks, which if one swaps them, the list remains the same. And so what we want to do is, using machine learning models, be able to identify structures such as these, and then store them in an AI knowledge base. And then given 2 lists, we can ask the AI whether the 2 lists have the same structure or not. And if the 2 lists have the same structure, we can sometimes use one list in place of the other one. So this can greatly reduce computational complexity among other uses. The skills that might be useful are a bit of familiarity with machine learning and artificial intelligence. The weekend goals would be to study lists, and then maybe a bit of group and vector space structure. And please come talk to me and ask me questions during the networking session. I'm really excited to share this idea with you. And if this thing gets going, then we can continue on the project beyond the weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kaushal. So just to move on to the next project listed here, you can see a project proposal here called Theory of Threefolds and Four-Dimensional Universe. Now, this is one of a couple of projects which is essentially related to theoretical physics. I'm not going to go through this project in detail, which I apologize to Yogesh, the submitter, for. But Yogesh has uploaded the proposal to our site, for which we thank him, but has linked through to a video explaining it in detail. And it's a 17-minute long video, so it's not something that I can summarize in a meaningful manner now. So I'm not going to try to attempt to do that. However, I do encourage you all to take a look. The whole point of this session really is just as a taster, to listen out for some keywords, some things that pique your interest. And then we encourage you to go and take a look on the website, where you can find full descriptions of all of the projects, as well as the contact details of the appropriate people. One other little sort of housekeeping point here is just to note, and this is not in any way to single out this particular project, but just I wanted you all to be aware of this. As the projects were submitted, we have, of course, vetted them in terms of making sure they're in line with the ethos of the Webfest, and looked at them from an ethical perspective, that we think they're a right match for the Webfest and things for people to work on over the weekend. However, we, the Webfest organizers who are volunteering, we've not been in a position to sort of peer review any of the physics where there are sort of physics-related projects. So that's not something we were able to do, over the last 24 hours. So it's not that we're, editorializing or making a comment either way. It's just to say we are entirely agnostic as to the, the scientific rigor of the physics projects proposed. That as there's no possibility to peer review. That being said, we are very happy to have such projects, and we thank you, Yogesh, for your submission, as well as for one of the other submissions that will come later, which is also a sort of theoretical physics-based project. So I do encourage you to go and take a look at those. But as mentioned, they're not really projects that I can summarize in a meaningful manner in 60 seconds or 90 seconds. So with no further ado, then I'll go on to the next project, which is called Labyrinth. This is another one which I will be presenting to you. So this is what the proposers have sent. Collaboration is the essence of scientific progress. However, sharing equipment for experimental research has always been a challenge. Most of the equipment is confined in laboratories, and it's accessible only by few researchers that have to be in proximity. This precludes a vast number of competent scientists from testing their hypotheses and performing experiments. Moreover, as the recent pandemic has shown, physical presence at laboratories cannot be guaranteed at all times. Thus, in order to make experimental equipment more accessible and user-friendly, and to foster collaboration among experimental researchers, we are developing a platform for sharing or renting access to experimental equipment. There we go. And now I believe we have one more project proposal on facilitating research. And I'm very pleased to announce that the people here, I believe either Alex Romero or Berenice Espinosa, I believe one of you are with us and are going to present this final project related to facilitating research. Great. Over
Hello.
to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My name is Alex Romero. I'm a physics student from Mexico. I would like to congratulate everyone and also my team partner, Berenice. She's a very dedicated student. Our project is called CERN, Urban Solutions for People. It's based in the post-coronavirus will require better cities in harmony with people. And that's our main passion and motivation. Also, there is a big gap between research centers and local communities. So we are going to design a platform to connect research with the needs of cities in emerging countries. So this is our challenge, to connect people with science. We are going to use gamification, and it will be so interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So we're now going to pass on to the next of our topics, that is data visualization. So again, as mentioned, there's a bit of overlap between some of our topics, but we do encourage you to take a look at all things, even if you come here with the mindset of, I am definitely going to do a health-related project, I'm definitely going to do a data visualization project. Please do keep an open mind, see what there is available, talk to the people, and then make your decision by 9 o'clock tonight. So to the 3 data visualization projects, I'm going to be presenting each of these. So let's start with the physics concepts mind map. This project intends to create a website which can show the relationship between physics concepts like mind maps and find the relations between these concepts. The website can be edited by every user just like a wiki. And the goal is to construct the website and make it available for generating the mind map and finding relations between concepts. And now to the second project proposal listed here. This is the Virtual Web Museum. Here, the proposers have written, young and curious minds have been confined to their homes due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But that surely should not limit our ability to learn and collaborate with people around the world. So we would like to propose a virtual museum that enables people around the world to continue their education from home, interact with the community, and at the same time, give a great level of presence and personification in a live virtual reality experience. The chosen theme of the museum is the web, and we would like to present the journey of the web technologies and from the computers at CERN to modern applications that keep us connected even through a worldwide lockdown. This project is a tribute to the work of Sir Tim Berners-Lee and his efforts to improve the sharing of information. Just as a side note, I encourage the proposer of this project to speak to our judge, who we heard from earlier, Ben Segal, who is a member of the Internet Hall of Fame and is a legend when it comes to the history of the web. So he's a good resource in the context of this project. Now, moving on to the final data visualization project called VisuPy, or VisuPy. Here, the proposers have written, have you ever opened up code that you wrote 6 months ago and wondered what in the world is going on? We have. We are committed to building a tool that allows easy visualization of how data is created and used in code for common objects. Visualizing how data is selected from arrays and objects and how it is propagated through functions is a key to understanding how programs new and old work, and will greatly decrease the amount of time needed to understand exactly what is being done on your machine. So that's our 3 data visualization projects. And I'm pleased to let you know that we also have a number of projects related to health. and I'm going to move over to those now. So again, it's me presenting these, so I apologize that you're going to all be a bit sick of the sound of my voice by the end of this. But let's go through them in order. As with always, I do encourage you to take a look at the Webfest website to find out more information, because I really can't do them justice in 60 to 90 seconds, but at least I can give you a little overview. So the first project proposal relates to patient in-house death rates and length of stay in intensive care units in relation to COVID-19. So this project is about using machine learning to predict patient risk with a view to ensuring ICU beds can be used in the most appropriate manner so as to minimize COVID-19 fatalities. Now, obviously, that's not a topic that I can do justice to, and so I do encourage you to please go and take a look at the webpage where you'll see a full proposal. So on to the next proposal here. So this is the design of a LINAC. For those that don't know, a LINAC is a linear accelerator. Okay, so it's a type of particle accelerator. One typically has circular ones and linear ones. The LHC, which most of you will have heard of, is a famous circular one. But this here refers to a linear accelerator. So this is the design of a linear accelerator for breast cancer treatment. According to the World Health Organization, breast cancer is the most common type of cancer among women and the deadliest one in Mexico. The Mexican Institute of Social Security proposes radiotherapy as the main treatment or coadjuvant treatment due to its effectiveness in reducing relapse of cancer with minimal side effects. Additionally, breast cancer treatments with radiotherapy over chemotherapy are predominant in the United States, regardless of the cancer stage. The present work proposes the design of a basic electron linear accelerator, ELINAC, aimed at treating breast cancer. The goal is to work on developing a low-cost radiotherapy system for disadvantaged regions. And now to the next project called HELP Acceleration. So the idea is that this is a game about something you can start from zero and see how it grows. So for example, it could be a seed that will grow into a beautiful tree, but you have to give it the proper water, sun, and nutrients. The authors here refer to it as some kind of Tamagotchi. Millennials like me, you'll know what that is. People from Generation Z, Google Tamagotchi. But the question here is, how can we do this in a website or an app? Well, the answer is with help. So we can choose the different types of help we can give to help others, to help the earth, or to help ourselves. And with doing so, we'll be able to see beautiful results, not only all around us, but in our virtual tree. So again, I encourage you to take a look at the website to find out more about this project. Now, onto the next slide, we have two more health projects. So the first is called Datur X, Fighting Depression with Advanced AI and Machine Learning, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. Before I start discussing this project, I just wanted to check that the proposals of this project, they're not online, they're not in the Zoom call. I'm taking that as a no. Okay, so I'm going to present this project. So the authors have written, depression is unarguably a serious threat for modern civilization. Our team, Datur X, investigates the fundamentals of depression and have found that it's quite shocking how digital platforms can make a large number of users depressed. Datur X is a new tech startup initiated by two teenagers from Bangladesh, and our main aim is to help people fight social problems like depressions beyond the borders with the help of modern technology. So through this project, they want to look at how artificial intelligence and machine learning can contribute to overcoming these issues. I think, if I understand correctly, it's particularly with regards to social media platforms and how they can play a role in exacerbating depression for many people, unfortunately. And given the topic of this, I just wanted to say, we want to make the Webfest a safe and good environment for all of the participants. So if anyone at any point over the next 2 days is feeling, a bit left out or a bit down at some point, we appreciate that some of these topics are dealing with some of these projects are dealing with some quite difficult topics. Please drop any of us from the organizing team a message on Mattermost at any time. We're free to talk. Next, we have one more project under the banner of health, and that is called ECG Database for Patients with COVID-19 Symptoms. And I believe that we have Sina Keshri on the line, and I'm going to pass over to him now to give a short introduction to this. Over to you, Sina.
Hello, thank you, Andrew. I'm Sina Keshri. I'm very happy to be presenting here. So as you all know, the world is right now dealing with a very deadly pandemic. So it's a very important issue to share information on this subject, especially in the scientific community. So what we aim to do is to create a widely accessible database of electrocardiograms from COVID-19 patients as a form of an app or website. And the reason why we think it's a crucial thing to do is because lots of the drugs used to treat COVID-19 have very dangerous side effects. And these side effects are very bold in cardiology about the heart, especially what we saw about hydroxychloroquine, which could cause very fatal arrhythmias. And so the patients can be harmed more from the drugs than the virus itself. So we hope to create a resource for both AI and COVID-19 researchers, hoping that if more and more clinicians and doctors from the world upload their EKGs to this website, we have more adverse data set, and we can look at a very detailed precision. So we hope to create this kind of data set and make it useful for AI and researchers on COVID-19, hoping that we could understand the function of this virus better and design more advanced tools in order to diagnose and treat this virus. So what we need basically to do this is people who are experts and have skills in image processing, web designing, application designing, and knowledge of JavaScript and HTML5. So feel free to join us, contact us if you have any kind of questions. We are under EKG database for patients with COVID-19 symptoms. There's me, Sina Keshri, and Ali Feliparanch. So feel free, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sina. So we're now going to move on to our next topic, which is volunteer computing. And we have two projects proposed under this topic now. And I'm going to go through each of them. So the first one is called Hello Friend. And the proposers of this project write, hobbyist programming is often a lonesome endeavor, since it can be quite hard to find suitable people to work with and learn from. We want to fix this by making it easy to find partners to collaborate with via a matchmaking website designed specifically for programmers. So we want to develop a working website with functionality for matchmaking and messaging, and that's their goal for the weekend. And now over to another project called CERN Space. And the proposers of this project write, based on the research at CERN, you can request data storage or donate data storage with the click of a button. You can also donate computing power in the form of Docker containers to CERN research and allow experts to use these Docker containers to help their research. So this is what, sorry, I should have made it clear. This is what they're aiming to do to the project. So they want to create a proof of concept that would allow CERN to take remote control of Docker containers that would be donated to them. So this isn't something that currently exists. This is something that the project proposers are hoping to create. And that's all for the topic of volunteer computing. So we're now going to move on to the next topic, which is education. So I am going to delve right in with the first project, which is called Delve, right into it. And here the proposers write, we propose a platform, Delve, which helps people all around the world to access a closed virtual platform, a classroom or virtual co-working space, in which a host can organize a study session on a specific topic he or she wants to learn about. Several features, including a common canvas for sharing common thoughts and learnings, feedback-driven questions, and doubt clearing via text, would allow like minds to comprehensively build their understanding by collaborating with other people. Bearing in mind the importance of user privacy, our goal is to provide a safe and secure platform to individuals who wish to learn and collaborate with one another and share ideas. To carry this out, we want to build a platform which enables users to create, join, or engage in virtual study, creating workrooms with very specific aim to learn. And now moving to the second project under the topic of education here. This is a project called Internship Opportunities in Latin America. And this isn't about advertising internship opportunities, this is instead about making visible the opportunities that are out there. So it says here, finding internships and other similar opportunities in Latin America is getting even harder during a pandemic, in a region that already has huge youth unemployment and an astonishing staff turnover rate. The solution is a mobile application that can provide instant access to hundreds of internship opportunities in industry and academia, making this solution a part of revitalizing communities while also providing a smooth transition towards opportunities that can keep students engaged in learning. So I encourage you to go and take a look at the website to find out more about that project. And then the next project, the third project on this slide under education, is called Next Generation Learning Management System. Here the proposal's right. Due to the pandemic, online education is gaining lots of importance. Most of the educational institutions are exploring various tools and platforms to deliver lectures. Each of these platforms have their own advantages and disadvantages. The major issue with these platforms include effective lecture delivery, student engagement, and assessment of activities. Also, there are growing concerns with respect to the effect of digital platforms on the mental health of students, especially school children. There is a need to develop a new platform and/or modify existing systems to address the above mentioned issues. And now if you go over to the next slide, we have quite a lot of submissions related to education. So in fact, we have 3 slides. I'm now moving on to the second one. And here, the first project listed is simply called Online Science Hands-On. In fact, this is one of 2 projects you'll see here on this slide, which were submitted by CERN's local communication team. So I mentioned earlier that one of the mentors is the head of that team, Francois Briard, who will be joining us at some point during the weekend on Mattermost. So it's a great opportunity to ask questions and get some feedback on these projects if these are ones that you're interested in working on. So to the first of these, Online Science Hands-On. Many outreach programs offered by CERN for pupils are based on hands-on activities. Hands-on learning is an educational method that directly involves the learner by actively encouraging them to do something in order to learn about it. In short, it is learning by doing. Can the concept of hands-on activities be transposed online? And can it be done with the following characteristics? Easily done, with objects that can be found at home or in a classroom, or with easily transportable kits. Interactive, that's the second point. With a clear connection with CERN's activities and researchers. For kids aged between 8 and 15 years old. And finally, as an added bonus, can a hands-on be made that can be done from both a classroom with no video conference system in place and at home? So now moving on to the second of these 2 projects proposed by the CERN team. Second one is called Outreach Activities in Primary Schools. Can the offer of presentations of scientists in classrooms be redesigned such that CERN can continue to do outreach activities inside local schools? Can we reshape the offer so that it meets current constraints? These being limited travel for scientists, limited computer equipment in classrooms, and more. But at the same time, we need to maintain as many advantages as possible. So limited preparation, possible to reach 24 students at a time, and much more. If the solution includes IT equipment, it would need to be extremely easy to set up in the classroom. Many teachers give up on activities as soon as they ask for even a small amount of computer skills. So this is something that really should stay at the forefront of people's minds if they choose to work on this project. And now on to the last project proposal listed on this page, which is called The Detector is You. And again, this is one that I will be presenting. So, The Detector is You. This is a group activity in which participants will team up to become part of a particle detector. Each participant plays a role in the collective identification of the particle traveling among them. Teams compete for the fastest, most accurate identification, learn about detector technology and particle detection principles in the process. The activity can be played on a mobile device with a standards-based web browser and Wi-Fi connectivity. The activity can be hosted on premises or over the internet. And now, as I mentioned before, we actually have a third slide with education projects, because we've got a lot in relation to that. The first of these is called Which Particle Accelerator Fits Your Interest Profile Best? So the aim of this project is to spread interest in particle physics while focusing on, number one, applications with societal relevance, and number two, peaceful collaborations around accelerators. The target group is students from middle and high school. And essentially the idea is to create a quiz, a questionnaire or game. It could be similar to a particle identities quiz developed by CERN's School Lab team. And you could use the open source game development platform GDevelop, for example. In the end, the idea is that the participant gets at least one accelerator or a ranking of things that might be interesting or relevant for him or her. Similar to the particle identities quiz, the main question could be, which particle accelerator fits your interest profile best? And now we have one final project proposal under the banner of education, and that is called a collab, and it's going to be presented by Shaunak Sirodaria, who I'm going to pass over to now.
Hey, thank you. So hi, I'm Shaunak, and the idea of a collab is basically building a community, a platform for new age social learning. We envision this social learning by peer interaction, collaborations, and innovating in the educating in the field of analytics. So my idea is for summer students at CERN, wherein summer students can come up with a and build a community. It may be a website, an application, it may be just a social media community wherein they come together, maybe organize webinars, write articles, do discussions, create have meetups, and basically just help each other learn and develop themselves in analytics. It can be AI, it can be just machine learning, it can be some statistics which they may or may not use at their project during their internship. So yeah, I guess that's some brief about it. I really want to fresh start with ideas from whoever is interested in this, whoever has passion for analytics and passion for being creative with modes of education. So thank you.
Great, thank you very much indeed. So finally, now we're going to move on to our last sort of catch-all topic, which is our sort of miscellaneous or other, as we've called it here. So we have a number of projects that that were submitted under this topic. We have 4, in fact, and we're now going to go through these. So the first of these is called From Field to Screen, Taking Musical Festivals Online. And this proposal actually comes from CERN's Festivals program. So the question asked is, how can we bring the musical festival experience online in such a way that it is not just a series of pre-recorded videos? And it's not, sorry, in such a way that it's not just a series of pre-recorded videos that are reached through a nicely presented website. How can we attempt to recreate the excitement of that interaction one has at a musical festival? Whether it's that awesome feeling of seeing particle tracks while making a cloud chamber in a science pavilion workshop, or the adrenaline surging moment of singing your favorite song along with thousands of others, along with the live musicians. So this is additionally an opportunity to engage and improve the experience for physically impaired festival fans. So just to give a little bit of background here, this is one of the many ways in which CERN does outreach through these kind of festivals, and we're looking at how this could be improved given the effect that the COVID-19 pandemic has had on such live events. So now moving to the next project. For those that were with us then, which is hopefully most of you, I mentioned earlier that there were a couple of projects that were essentially sort of theoretical physics based proposals. This is the second of those two. So again, I'm not going to go over this in detail. The project proposal is called Quantum Gravity Confinement, a Solution for the Dark Sector. And it says, to explore the validity of quantum gravity confinement at a very large scale. I really just, encourage you to go and take a look at the description on the website and read that through, because, as I say, we weren't in a position to review all of these, and I certainly haven't, unfortunately, been in a position to make a quick, sort of snappy 60-second summary of such a complicated topic of this. So as this, so please do go and take a look. Thank you. Now, moving on to the next and final slide, we have two more projects, both of which are going to be presented by people on the call. But before I hand over for the first one, 9 Quantums Morris, I would just like to say this, I believe, is a project that comes from last year's Webfest. So it's really great to see you back here. We understand that, of all the different project proposals made for this coming weekend, they're all at different levels of development, and that, of course, is something that's taken into account with the judging. That all being said, it's fantastic to see you back. We're really interested to know how you feel after this weekend when it comes to having participated in a face-to-face Webfest and then our online version, and the differences and similarities. And also, while I'm on the subject, I do encourage anyone else who's listening to this, if you're a former summer student at CERN, or you've, for whatever reason, been involved in one of our previous Webfests and you're joining us again, do drop us a message on the Mattermost channels. We'd love to hear from you. So with no further ado, I'd like to hand over to the team to present 9 Quantums Morris, please.
Hi, everyone. This is the 9 Quantums Morris team, and I'd like to present our So I'd like to start out with saying what 9 Men's Morris actually is. It's actually a strategic board game. And when one looks at the board of 9 Men's Morris, we can see that the positions can also be converted to nodes and the lines can be converted to edges. The paths the pieces take and the connections they make can be reflected into the structure of a graph neural network. Our goal is to train a quantum AI to play the game by running on this neural network. And if we do achieve this goal, we can change the shape of the network in any arbitrary way and use it to solve real-world problems. For example, many problems in the Atlas can be converted into graph neural network problems and to be analyzed. This project was also started in last year's Webfest, as mentioned by our moderator. And this year, we're planning to improve the game by either altering the AI or implementing the next phases of the game. And anyone who's interested and curious is welcome to join our team. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much indeed. And now on to our last project. For that, I'm going to hand back over to Ben Kirkler from the Remotely Green team, so that he can present his project on CO2 calculation for online versus in-person events.
Thank you, Andrew. So yes, this is our second challenge from us. The point here is that Remotely Green, we started working this about 7 months ago, actually. But the point is that online events, we believe, can be greener than in person, so that there's going to be less CO2 produced. And actually, we did a study that suggests that it can be about 96% greener compared to in person. But of course, that's not always true. That's a very sort of vague number. It depends on how long the event goes on for, where it would be in person, how far you'd have to travel, and of course, on the other side, for going online, what computing hardware is being used. And obviously it uses more electricity, so you have to understand where this comes from. So the goal for this project basically is to build some kind of open source model that takes in as an input the type of event, so the number of people, the duration that it will last for, what sorts of things will be going on, whether you'll be just using video and maybe audio, or whether you'd be using virtual reality or something like this. And then at the end, produce an estimate for how much power will be needed to run this event, and then as a result, how much CO2 would be produced. And then we do want to think a bit about how to represent this model in an easy to interpret way. So ideally, we'd have people that have a good mathematical background, some familiarity with the environmental sciences a little bit, or big computing and power supply infrastructures, and then working and finding sort of reliable and open input data sets. A little bit of coding would be good. Something, we have something simple already in Python, but it's very, very crude. And maybe want to use some JavaScript or something, so that one thought for after this event is that we turn this into something that we host online. So if you're interested, look at this challenge. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. So that concludes our presentation of the project proposals. Thank you very much indeed for your patience and for bearing with us, all of you. And I apologize if any of the summaries were a little bit too brief. The key thing here really is just that this is a taste overview, and we encourage you all to take a good look at the website where you can find out more information, and more importantly, to talk to one another about these projects. So in order to do that, please don't forget, you can discuss with the Mattermost channels, and you can make your decisions using the Webfest app, and you have to make your choices by 9 p.m. CEST this evening, please. So I'm now going to hand over to my colleague Karolos, who is our brilliant mastermind behind the app, and he's going to give you a little talk through that right now.
So, yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Very excited to have you here on the Webfest, so welcome. One thing, I wanted to show you how basically you can choose your challenges, at least in theory, how it's supposed to be. So you all should go to https://webfest-app.cern.ch, and there at the bottom of the page, you will see, if you could put back a slide, I think it's more useful than my face. You could see at the bottom of the page, just above the schedule, a place where you can select the challenge you want to vote for. And this is one way by which you can select just from the drop-down the challenge you want. Or if you go to the challenge page, so if you click on the bottom saying challenges just above the box, you will get to the next page. Let me show you, please, the next slide. Where you basically could see the challenges, and then you see all the list of challenges, and you can click on the red button to select a challenge. Now, I say this is in theory. Why? Because we actually have a small technical problem. So many of you are getting a not authorized message when they do that in the JavaScript console. So we're working on a fix for that. So bear with us. But in any case, now you know how in theory it's supposed to happen. We'll fix that before the networking session, about which you'll learn a bit more in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Karolos. So I'm now going to hand back over to my colleague Anastasiia, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the networking session. Anastasiia, I believe you're on mute.
Sorry, so I was. Thank you so much, everyone, for presenting your ideas, and also thank you so much, Andrew, for guiding us through the ideas. To be honest, I feel a little bit pity for all the participants because I don't know how you can choose among such a great amount of great topics. So good luck to you guys. Make a right choice. Please, for those of you who haven't done it yet, look through the projects either on our website or on the Webfest app and make your choice. And moving on to the networking session, of course, we more than welcome, encourage you to join the networking session with the Remotely Green app that will start at 19:30 CST. So basically in an hour. Please do join. It's a great chance for you to meet your fellows, to discuss your ideas, to meet your potential team members, and just to have fun, because the Webfest is all about having fun. And we by no means want you to feel left alone, but we really want you to feel like being a part of a great Webfest family. So please, we more than encourage you to join the Remotely Green networking session. And I'm now going to pass on to Ben to tell us more about the session, how it's going to work, and about the app you are going to use for this session. So Ben, please.
Thank you very much, Anastasiia. Yeah, so I've obviously spoken a bit already about the challenges, but now I can sort of say with a bit more time. So it's firstly a massive privilege to be here today. I totally agree with Anastasiia that the projects look really awesome, and I can't wait to see what comes out of it. And a big thanks to CERN and the organizers for everything they've done. Very briefly, Remotely Green, I would just say, so we actually grew out of these sorts of events. We actually started a hackathon at CERN called The Port last year, and actually in some ways also from last year's Webfest. Back then, our question was sort of, why do academics travel so much for conferences, and what can we do to bring them online? I talked a bit about how we see it being greener and being more environment friendly. Obviously, we think it's also a bit more inclusive. I think today is a fantastic example of this. We have hundreds of people taking part from all around the world. So this is really exciting to see. There are other aspects as well, though. If you have children at home, for example, and you can't fly or something like this because of that, then you can still take part in the event. The biggest thing for me, though, with all this is, and it sort of really makes me excited about doing these sorts of things online, is the new ways that we can collaborate when we do this. So there are all sorts of new things that we can try, all sorts of new ways that we can interact by bringing these on. And we've actually been developing a way, one of these things, so a way for people to meet each other at these sorts of events, which for us, when we did our research early on, it seemed to be one of the biggest challenges and downsides of going online. So what we've done, we've looked a bit at a coffee break. So at an in-person event, often at a coffee break, you meet someone, you bump into them, you'll start talking, you'll joke about how good or bad the coffee is, or how terrible the weather is, or whatever. And this way you'll get to know each other, you'll make informal connections. And that's really important for events. A lot of people will take part in these things just to meet each other. So we've tried to sort of bring these pieces, this sort of experience, onto an online platform in a way that can recreate that. It's very fresh. It's a little experimental still, but I'm really super excited to share this with you all tonight. We're actually going to use it twice in this hackathon, tonight and also tomorrow. So I think we have a short video which will just quickly demonstrate to you what the platform looks like, so that you have a bit of expectation for what you'll be getting. So there you go. That's what we'll be doing. This is our platform, and so we're going to be using it tonight, really to get to know everyone that's taking part. So obviously, you're all spread around the world. Let's get to meet each other a little bit. Let's see what we have in common. What can we learn about each other? And really, just because we're online, it doesn't mean that we have to be out of touch with each other. But the second goal for this evening is to help you decide a little bit on what you want to work on for this weekend. So obviously some people here have a challenge already. I still strongly recommend that you take part, because it would be a great opportunity to meet the other people. But if you don't have a challenge already, if you're not sure what you'd like to work on, or if you maybe want a chance to talk to the people that have pitched it, this is an opportunity for you. So when we when we provide these sorts of experiences on our platform, what we try to do is connect people together with similar interests. And as you'll see when you go to the page, what we use, we give you a bunch of different topics that you can choose from. So we've set this up so that the topics for tonight's event are the challenges that have been pitched. So this means that when you come to our platform, choose the challenges that you might be interested in, and you'll be matched with people that you expect to that are going to want to work on it as well. If you are a challenge proposer, stick with the topic that you are proposing. In that way, you'll stick with the topic that you've proposed. That's someone you should select, and that way you'll be much more likely to meet the people that are interested in your challenge. If you're not proposing, choose the challenges that look interesting. You will probably talk to the proposer of the challenge at some point. You may well just meet some of the other participants that are interested. We will be using it again tomorrow night. The purpose we'll be doing with it tomorrow night is to give you an opportunity to test your ideas. So obviously, it's a hackathon. You're going to be sprinting, no doubt, and working like crazy. By the end of tomorrow, probably you'll have a reasonably good idea about what you would like to do, what you'd like to see. But of course, whenever you develop any idea, any sort of product or platform or maybe even some theory, it's important that you get feedback from other people as to how sensible that idea is. So the goal with tomorrow night will be giving you an opportunity to test with the other participants, get feedback on the idea, maybe do some user testing, and explore how people see it. So I'll tell you a bit more about tomorrow morning during the day. But for now, I think I'm going to wrap up. So we obviously have a little break between now and when we start. We'll be starting at 7:30. I strongly recommend you log into the platform first, just make sure things look okay for you. But this gives you plenty of time to have a read through some of the challenges, grab a drink of water, stretch your legs, and then get ready to meet the other people. So thank you very much. Happy hacking.
Thank you so much, Ben. And also for our participants, we would like to mention then that some mentors and organizers might as well join the networking sessions, the remotely green sessions. So it is a great opportunity for all of us to meet because, as Ben said, no matter what the circumstances are, we always have to take the best of it and always stick together. So please, you're all very welcome to join the networking session where we can all meet and chat. Another thing I would like to remind you as well, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask us and reach us via the Mattermost channel. You will find a lot of channels like a help desk channel, mentorship channel, and all the channels are dedicated to different categories you're working on. So please just reach out to us. Don't hesitate. We are here for you. Please believe me, there is a lot of people behind the camera who are doing their best and put in a lot of effort to make this Webfest experience for you be really the best one and to make you feel as comfortable as you only can. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us via Mattermost. We are there for you. We are happy to support you, and we would love to support you. Yes, Andrew, I think the only thing for us is left to remind about tomorrow's update session. Is it right? Our dear participants, as you have already seen the program, tomorrow we're going to have an update and feedback session at 11 CEST. So please do join this session. This is exactly when we would like to talk to some of you regarding the updates of your projects. How are you going on? How are you moving on? What is your experience? We would also give an update on the program and on all the other sessions that are still ahead of us. So please do join us tomorrow at 11 CEST. And also, if you feel like it, please also join all the how-to sessions, the workshops. Don't forget to also visit all the fun and energizers session. They are there for you because, of course, you have to hack hard, but don't forget that you have to also have fun and some rest to be even more productive. So yeah, we're happy to have you here and welcome again.
Great. Just one last point from my side. Just first of all, I'd like to echo Anastasia's thanks to everyone who's not currently on the video, but behind the scenes. There's a really committed organizing team. So thank you to all of those. And thank you again to all of you for joining us. You can hopefully see now on your screen, or you will be able to in a moment, the hashtag for the event. So if you're talking about the event on social media, or you want to share things on there, please, we encourage you to use this hashtag, which is hashtag CERN Webfest. I repeat, that's hashtag CERN Webfest, all one word, of course. So yeah, please use that on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're talking about the event. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing as many of you as possible at 7:30 p.m. CEST for the networking session with Remotely Green. Bye for now.